and welcome back to the vlog. We are starting, well, you can see the time here, but we are starting at 1:47, and not because I'm late for any reason or delaying the start of the vlog or anything like that. It's actually because today is Friday and today was a half day for work. So I got off work at 1 o'clock, got myself ready to go, and here we are in front of the camera. As you can probably tell by the title of this vlog, it's gonna be a bit of a chatty vlog because we are gonna do all things recapping 2023 and then moving on to getting ready for 2024. I'm so excited. I love watching these kinds of videos. I love prepping for these kinds of videos. So grab your tea or your snack or whatever, because this is gonna be a chatty one. And also my parents are coming back soon. They're currently running errands. I'm at my parents' place, by the way, if you can't tell by the location. My parents are out doing some errands and they are going to be back in about half an hour, 45 minutes. So we may be moving locations because this is a central space to where people like to hang out, but we do have a whole basement now to ourselves that we can utilize. So I might be going down there to continue with the budgeting part, but let's talk all things 2023. Let's just hop into it. If you guys will remember, at the start of this year, I did a video kind of recapping 2022 and prepping for this year. And with that, I put together a series of goals that I had for the year, and I kind of just wanted to talk about them, what I completed, what I didn't complete. And actually I was looking at the list this morning and I didn't complete a lot of it. I did complete some stuff, but I think it's very typical of us to kind of push ourselves, especially at the beginning of the year, but then we end up like dropping off and things just don't end up working out. But what I love about goals though is that you go in with a positive mindset, and I don't think not completing these is like a negative thing. I think it's just something that I can look back on and then figure out ways in which to modify my lifestyle in order to actually complete them. Like, why did I fail? It's a moment where you can think of like, why did I fail at that goal? How can I actually improve my life to complete it? So I had 3 categories going into this year. I had health and wellness, social media, and then financial goals. So we're gonna start off with the health and wellness. My first one is drink more water. You know, it's really hard to say whether I did or did not drink more water. I would say for the majority of the time I did not, but I think when we're going through our own like health journeys, there's ebbs and flows. There's like times where I'm drinking more water and I'm being more productive and all that, and then there's other times where I'm like, I don't have time, I'm just gonna drink my tea and it is what it is. So I'm not gonna check that one off because I don't feel like I completed it. I feel like there were spurts of drinking more water, but then spurts of also not drinking any at all. Workout every week. I think for the most part I completed this, but I wouldn't say that I did it every week. There were times that I definitely skipped weeks in terms of doing workouts. I can say pretty confidently that the majority of my weeks were completed, and I can say that because every Sunday I have a designated workout with a friend, and so for the most part there was at least that one workout. But there were also times where either she canceled or I canceled, and I'm pretty sure that there was no workout, you know, during the rest of the days of that week. So I'm not gonna check that one off. Read a minimum of 12 books. This one I also did not complete, okay? The health and wellness category just suffered. But I will say that I did actually read more books than I thought I did. When I went back and looked at my like Kindle and the things that I purchased and whatnot, I actually read 10 books, which is so good. Like, I thought in my brain, I feel like I've read 3, but I've read 10, which is amazing. But I will say too that 2 of those were audiobooks. Audiobooks I go to when I'm really, really stressed, really, really busy. I don't have time to actually pick up my Kindle or a physical book. And audiobooks are just so good. They're so good. Like, one of my favorite things is to climb into bed and do some work and listen to an audiobook. I used to do that all the time at university. I did it a lot like in the past few years. It's just one of my favorite things. But I have been trying to read more physical books. Obviously, and when I say physical, I mean Kindle. So I read 8 books on my Kindle, and then 2 books were audiobook format. So 10 in total. Get to bed before midnight most nights? No, that did not happen. I was actually just editing a vlog where I was like, oh, I've been up until 2 a.m. almost every night. Yeah. 7,500 to 10K steps per day. I did go into my app because I don't keep track of obviously like every single day of this year, but I did go into the health app on my phone just to kind of take a look at the average, and I actually averaged 9,719 steps per day. I know there's days that I didn't do steps, like, I don't know, last Saturday when I was in bed all day, but I know there's also days where I did like 20,000 steps, whatnot. So I think I'm gonna give myself like half a check mark on that one because my average is pretty good. I think that's pretty good. I would love for 2024 for this to be like the average to be 10K. But honestly, since I gave myself that little 2,500, step window, I think I did pretty well. Okay, be kind to myself about my health and wellness goals. I would say for the majority of this year, I've been pretty good about that. I've been pretty good about self-motivating. I'm not going to check that one off either because I know that I have been hard on myself for the past month. I have noticed that I have like gained a little weight and that has freaked me out, and I've been like, oh my God, no, that like can't happen. And I look at my body and I'm like not happy. So I know for a fact that I can't check that one off because I just haven't felt good. And I think I've talked about that in vlogs too. I have not felt like myself. I've not felt good. So I'm not going to check it off. Okay. Social media. This was actually interesting. I was looking at numbers and stuff. So my first one is 1,000 subscribers on YouTube. As you can probably tell, we didn't make it, but I'm so happy with the progress that we did make this year. Here are the numbers, guys. I love crunching the numbers and looking at stuff. So we started this year with 443, and we are now, as of this video, 679. So we gained 236 new people. You know what? I think that's really great. I might not be at 1,000, but originally I had thought I would make my goal 500. And now looking back at that, I'm like, oh yeah, well 500 would have been almost like too easy because we've majorly surpassed that. So while we didn't make it to 1,000, that was like a big goal. That was like reaching like really far into the future and trying to grab that goal. But like I am super happy about where I am right now. I think my channel is growing very nicely, organically. I'm just enjoying every moment of my YouTube journey, if I'm gonna be totally honest. And I will reach 1,000 when I reach 1,000. It will come, it will have its time. And when it does, it's gonna be obviously like a major celebration for me. Oh, and just to tag on to that, so the 236, that's an average of 19.7 per month. And my best month for this year was October, where we gained 56 new people. So welcome everybody, welcome, and thank you so much for subscribing. The next one is post 4 videos a month. No, that didn't happen. And I know which months specifically that didn't happen in, and they're my busiest months. It happens. I did, as of this video going up, I have posted 43 videos, and that is an average of 3.6 videos per month, and I think that's pretty good. Okay, be better about posting on Instagram. Yeah, that didn't happen. I am still so bad about posting on Instagram. I don't know why. It used to be my favorite platform, and now I'm like really struggling with it. Even just to post stories, I'm really struggling. I don't know if I'm just like, it was like a phase and I'm coming out of it. Instagram is just not that important to me right now. I prefer like YouTube, and I'm actually moving a little more into TikTok, which is so funny because I was never a TikTok person. It's so weird. Like, it's so weird. I don't know why I'm into TikTok now, but look at me. Look at me. I'm now a TikToker. It's so weird. Okay, so now moving into the financial goals. You guys, I'm so happy. Okay, so my first one is become debt-free. I am officially debt-free as of November 20th, 2023. I know that a lot of people struggle with their debt. I know, I'm there. I have had my share of debt. Has it been like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars? No, but I do know the burden and sort of that weight on your shoulders when you do have debt, and it is awful, it is brutal, but just know that you can get out of it. No, not everyone has an amazing family to lean on like I do, but you can do it. But just know that everyone's journey is different, and this was my particular journey, and I've come out of it. And it's such a relief. And that's why I've also been working so hard on my freelance stuff, because I've been forcing myself to like get through, like push through. You can do this. And here we are, we made it. Save a $1,000 emergency fund. That didn't happen. So going into last year, you kind of like have this mindset where you're like, yeah, okay, if I'm saving this much a month, then I can definitely save up the $1,000 emergency fund. But the problem is that emergencies happen. And I had to pull several times from that emergency fund to pay for either Bennett emergencies or car emergencies, which were the 2 main culprits. But things happen, life happens. But in that, I've also come to realize the importance of having an emergency fund, because when I did have those times where I needed extra money, I had money to pull. This year, with everything that has gone on, I'm going to continue to add to my emergency fund and just continue to grow it as much as possible. And we'll talk about that a little bit later when I go over my budget. Stick to my monthly budgets. I would say it's been pretty good, especially more towards the beginning of the year. This last half of the year with like Christmas and birthdays and all that stuff, I've kind of not done as well, but I would say overall that I did pretty well. I want to give myself like half a check mark because I'm still obviously like debt free. I never went into debt on my credit card or anything like that. So I stayed within the money that I had available, but I do think that this year I could be better at that. And my last one is be consistent monthly with my sinking funds. Overall, I would say that I wasn't that great. I could definitely be better, but the one sinking fund that I was consistent on, contributed to every single month, was my Christmas fund, and that ended up being such a blessing. Like, I am doing that again this year for sure. The Christmas sinking fund was the best thing I ever did for myself. Was it enough money to cover all the Christmas gifts? No, and I will be bumping it up this year, but was it a nice little base that I could pull from when there was like a sale or the item that I needed came back into stock? Yes, it was awesome. And you guys, if you are thinking about making a Christmas sinking fund, highly, highly, highly recommended. Okay, you guys, so those were my goals for 2023. Overall, not bad. Like, did I check off a lot of them? Definitely not. Am I happy overall with the outcome of this year? Yes. So it's not all about checking those boxes. It's, did you make progress in your life? Did you take steps towards where you want to be in life? And I think that's what's important. It's not necessarily like getting right to the goal and doing it all in one go. I think it's those baby steps to get to that final goal that you are imagining, like that future you that you see in your brain. You are making your way there, and that is what's important. Okay, so we're getting a little more cozy here. As you can tell, we have a little change of venue. We're gonna be popping around all over my parents' place today. But I wanted to do a very quick mini recap of my favorites for 2023. And I spent some time actually a little bit earlier making a list because I was like looking back at 2023, the things I had read, watched, viewed, all that stuff. So here is my list, and we're just gonna quickly go through it. So my favorite shows, this was really, really tough because I was like, what have I watched? When you think about the year, you're like, oh my God, a year is a pretty long time. And like, I spent a lot of time in front of the TV. So I was like, what have I watched that I loved? My two top favorite shows for this year were Miss Scarlet and the Duke season 3. Season 3 came out, I believe, at the end of last year, but I watched it in January, February. So that show's so good. If you love period dramas and you love mystery detective stuff, that is definitely your show. And then my second was more recent, and that is Dancing with the Stars. I love Dancing with the Stars. It brings me joy every single week. I'm sad that it's over now, but it was so, so good. And if you haven't watched it, I definitely recommend it. Favorite books? Okay. Hands down, the Zodiac Academy series. I read books 1, 2, and 3 closer to the beginning of the year, and oh my God, chef's kiss. They are so good. If you love Harry Potter but want like a mature Harry Potter, that is definitely something that I would look into. Favorite YouTubers. This was so tough because I watched so many people, but I had to narrow it down to the people that I definitely like watch the most. So my first would be Tara Michelle. She's my inspo. I love her vlogs so much, and I do take so much inspiration from her specifically. I do watch a lot of YouTubers, and like this video, for example, is influenced by a variety of different people, but I definitely follow along with her vlogs probably the closest, like the most. So if you don't know about her, go check her out. One channel that I've more recently discovered is Annie Elise 10 to Life. If you love true crime, she's your girl. She does like videos and podcasts and all of that, but all of her podcasts are also in video format. So if you go to her channel, she has legitimately everything, and she does cover true crime, so it can be difficult to listen to. If you get spooked or you hate, you know, violence of any kind, don't go check it out. But if you do love true crime like I do, she's so good. And then my third one is Emily D. Baker. She's a lawyer on YouTube that breaks down cases that are like currently happening, and she breaks down the legal side of it. And I just love listening to the legal side of things. Like, she actually goes through court documents and breaks stuff down, and she covers more pop culture related cases. So if you like that kind of thing and you're curious to learn more than what you see in the tabloids or newspapers, she is so good. Okay, my favorite artist, and this kind of like pretty much defines how I listen to music. So I've always said to everyone that music either has to make me get up and dance, or it has to make me sob, ugly crying, sobbing. I love to feel emotion when I'm listening to music. It's not just like something in the background. Like, I want to feel something. And oftentimes I love listening more to ballads and sad songs just because they make me feel things. So I have two artists for this year. My first one is Devin Cole. She's a Canadian artist. If you haven't heard of her, you probably have actually. Her most famous song is called called which is woman in total control of herself. It's so good. It's such a catchy song. It makes me want to like get up and dance. I love it every single time I hear it. It has like witchy vibes, which I also really love. And she also has like many other good songs, so definitely go check her out. And then the other one is a more recent discovery for me, and it is Lauren Spencer Smith. Oh my gosh, she's just like all the feels. I love her newest album. I think it's her newest album anyway. Like the song Aftermath. Oh, it makes me cry almost every single time I hear it, and I've listened to it so many times. I found her through her song Fingers Crossed, which is also really good. I think that's probably like her hit song or whatever. It's the more mainstream one, but I discovered her album and every single song like hits me hardcore. Like I feel it in my bones. But Aftermath really has a special effect on me, so go check her out if you're ready for all the feels. And then I just put in food. Okay, I have to give a shout out to the egg wraps. I'm sorry, like food is so like different from like all of my other categories, but I had to shout out the egg wraps. Like they're so yummy. You've probably seen me make them. I make them in about almost every single vlog. I think there was 1 month that I made them like every single night. So guys, those are my favorites for 2023. Let me know in the comments what your favorites were for 2023. I'm really interested. And let's go on to the budgeting portion of this video, which I know you're all so excited for. We love a good budget, okay? We love a good budget up in here. I'm a big budgeter now, so put on your budgeting caps and let's go do that together. All right, you guys, and so for the last chatty portion of this video, we're actually in my bedroom now. My parents are back, and so we're getting real cozy. Like we've gone from the kitchen to the living room, and now we're in the bedroom. We're definitely friends at this point. This is like me talking to my bestie. I'm just showing you different areas of their house, and this is the space. This is like my space. This is like my little excuse me. This is like my little apartment down here. So welcome to my space, and let's talk all things budgeting. I can't believe I just said MySpace. Who had a MySpace account? I definitely did. If you don't know what I'm talking about, well then you're definitely a different generation. So I have my budgeting spreadsheet open here in front of me, and I'm gonna do a bit of like a split screen thing so that you guys can also see the spreadsheet. And I will just say, as we go through this, I have made a free version of this available for everyone. Yes, this is what I personally use. I made this one myself. It's not fancy. It's not like one of those like really fancy Etsy ones. But compared to what I started with last year, I have modified things to make it even more advanced. And I could sell this on Etsy. Like I really could. But for me, when I started out my budgeting journey, I couldn't even afford to pay for a spreadsheet. And to me, like budgeting has become so important to my life. And I want it to be important to yours too, because it is crucial. It is crucial because we all are suffering right now. Things are super expensive. Inflation is at an all-time high, and whatever I can do to help you guys out with your own budgeting journey, well then I'm gonna do that. And if you want to either like start your budgeting journey, or maybe you're continuing on with your budgeting journey and you just need a little bit of help, this is available for you for free down in the description box below. I did do one of these a couple of months ago, but since we are heading into a new year, 2024, and also I am now debt free, things are gonna look a little bit different when it comes to like how I lay things out and how I'm going to manage my money. Everything in this spreadsheet is blank right now, but I've written down my numbers just so that I can remember as we go along. Isn't this cute too? I got this for free from work. One of the companies that we work with always sends us these little agendas at the beginning of the year, or at the end of the year, I should say. And I don't normally take them, but I just thought this one was really cute. I'm someone that does a lot of things digitally, but sometimes it's nice to have something tangible, you know? So I am calling this, like for the video's sake, the January budget, but this for me is actually December budget. I get paid on December the 20th, so in my brain, it's like the December paycheck. So it's December into January, but it's like, you know, 10 days of December, 20 days of January. It's hard to decide if I'm going to call that December or January, but in my brain, it just makes more sense because I know that I receive that payment in December. I don't know if that is confusing, but it makes sense to me. And also, we did talk about this in my last budgeting video. I will not be showing what I make, like my paycheck. I'm legally not allowed to do that. My company has made it clear that we're not allowed to talk about what we make in any form or capacity, so I will be blurring that out, but everything else I will be showing. And if you are new here, I am 32 years old. I live in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, and Toronto is one of the most expensive cities in Canada, and I do live by myself in a one-bedroom apartment, so my expenses are quite high, and I know it's a bit shocking for some people, and if you watch any kind of like finance budgeting YouTuber, then I'm sure they'd be disgraced by my particular numbers. But I'm just keeping it real. I'm keeping it real with all of you that this is just how my life is, and that is why I have to manage my money kind of so tightly, because I don't have a lot to spare. I am someone who lives paycheck to paycheck for the most part, and I do a lot of freelance work on the side to try and balance that out. I try to make a little bit more each month, but those numbers are not guaranteed. Like, I don't know how much I'm going to be making freelance wise, so I rely heavily on what I make through my full-time job. Okay, so in the leftmost column we have the incoming finances. So this is where you're going to put stuff like your paycheck, or I have rollover, so anything from last month. So I'm going to put in what I make from my full-time job, but as you can see, it is blurred out. Sorry to anyone who's interested, but I really can't talk about it. Maybe sometime in the future, but as of right now, I can't. Basically, that's the base. I'm sure many of you have multiple paychecks. I get paid once a month, so I am putting the sole big chunk right in there. As I said, rollover is anything from the previous month. So I had $12.19 left over from, well, I guess November or December, however you want to look at it. And I actually am lucky this month because I just like yesterday, I got paid from a freelance client. And like I said, I really don't know when that's going to come in, but I did get paid. I did invoice like a few days ago, and they just paid me yesterday. So just in time for this video, that is an additional $200. So that's like a nice little bonus. And then interest is because I have a lot of sinking funds, and so I gain a little bit of interest on those accounts each month. Normally it's not a lot. It's like maximum $2.50 or something like that. But you know, every cent counts. And so I do take that into account when I'm doing my overall finances. I will wait to input that, obviously, because I don't know when that's going to come in. Usually it's like the second week of whatever the next month is. So it would be like the second week of January or something. Oh, and I almost forgot. I also added a date category. So you can also put the date of whenever your incoming finances are coming in. So my paycheck was on December the 20th. That rollover, I'm going to do same thing because that's kind of when I restart everything on the 20th. And then the freelance stuff, I got paid on the 21st. So I found that's just an extra way to keep track of like when and where your money's coming in. And CRA is Canada Revenue Agency, and normally I don't get paid, but I am getting paid mid-January for like taxes stuff, and they are giving me $122. Normally that doesn't happen. This is the last and final payment from my taxes from last year. Oh, and that is going to be on January 15th. So the next category is investments, and I do contribute to, it's like a tax-free savings account. Essentially, they take that money and then they invest it for me. I work with a bank to do that. So I always have $100 taken out of my account every month. And also you can see that actually made the cash flow summary chart begin. I've created this chart so that you can see like exactly where your money goes each month in a sort of like graphic form. So yeah, $100. And then the total, obviously I have more than $100 in there. I just like to see how much that I am personally putting in to the account throughout the whole year. Okay, debt. Well, I don't have any debt, so I don't have to fill that in, but obviously I left it in case there is debt in the future, hopefully not, or if also you guys have some debt that you need to keep track of. Okay, taxes. I do have a little bit in there. I need to start contributing a little bit more, not this month, but starting in my my next budget or next month's budget. I am gonna put $25 in there though. I am gonna have to start putting like, you know, $50 in each month because I want to make sure that I have more than I need than less. But I am just gonna contribute a little bit. There are a few upcoming expenses for January that are pretty hefty, so I need to take that into account and kind of like prioritize that before I prioritize the taxes stuff. Okay, and then we get over into the bills category, and as I mentioned in my last budgeting video, I split mine up between checking and then what comes out on my credit card. I do that because I need to know where it's coming out so that I have enough in my checking account for when that happens. I mean, I do have a bit of a safety net. I have a small overdraft, but still I like to be prepared, and so that's why I have split it up like this. So car insurance, I actually made a mistake on my last vlog, and I noticed this because I said $260, but it actually is 260 cents. So anyone just listening to my video and not actually watching would probably assume that it's 260, but it's not. Yes, I do pay a lot for my car. Canada overall is just expensive for car insurance, but where I live, like Toronto, and then specifically my neighborhood, is very, very high. Like it's known to be very, very high for insurance, and I just kind of have to go with the flow. It is what it is. Home insurance is $31.35. A monthly fee. This is a monthly fee for my checking account, and I know you would be like, why are you paying that? But there are so many incentives to keeping it, so I've just kept it throughout the years, and that is $16.95. My rent plus parking. My rent did go up, and like I said, this is a 1-bedroom apartment, and it's in an older building, and my rent is actually pretty good for Toronto. Like if you looked at all of the rates for any building, it's like actually pretty good. I moved in during the vid, and so it was a pretty like steady rate, but since then it's just like skyrocketed. A 1-bedroom apartment in my building is almost $700 more a month now. It is insane. So while it is high, I'm pretty happy with it. So that is $1,972.27 per month. And that, like I said, does include the parking. Utilities, I don't know what I'm gonna pay for utilities yet. Usually that comes in like at a random time, but because it is the winter time or that it's colder outside and I don't have my air conditioner in, it is gonna be a little bit lower. I'm gonna put in 60. Typically it's anywhere from like 45 to 70 depending on the year. So I'm just gonna put in 60 to be safe. And then we move into the credit portion of my bills, and so we have internet. I am with Rogers and I pay so much for internet, but here we go. So it is $132.20. Netflix, I pay $18.96. Yes, I do have my own account because of the whole not sharing thing, which really, really sucks. Apple storage is $4.51. Google storage is $4.59. Epidemic sound, it's actually in American dollars, so it kind of varies every month, but it's typically between $25 and $26. So I'm gonna put $26. I always like to be on the safe side, especially when it comes to my bills. And then Amazon Prime is $11.29. So those are all of my bills, and my bills total out to $2,478.72. But then when I put my money away, because whenever I get paid, it instantly goes into an account so that I don't touch it. And I also include the $100 that goes into my investments. So it's $2,578.72 that I will put into that special account for all of my bills. All right, then the fun stuff. We move into the savings and sinking funds. We talked about my emergency fund. I actually ended the year with $350 in there. I'm not gonna make my emergency fund a priority for this particular month because like I said, there are so many incoming payments that I'm gonna have to make this month, but I am just gonna put $50 into my emergency fund. Bennett is gonna be a little bit higher because he's gonna have his big appointment at the end of this year. But I'm going to put $100 into my Bennett account. Christmas, like I was saying before, my Christmas sinking fund was the best thing I ever did for myself. So awesome. So I saved up $150 last year. I'm going to save up $250 this year. So I'm gonna put in $25 for this month. Hair, oh my gosh, I'm not looking forward to this. I have to do my hair. Like, look how long my hair has gotten. It's actually insane. I need to get a haircut like ASAP. But my hair costs like $600. I have to do some more freelance work to get paid so that I can pay for my hair. If not, I'll just get it done in February. Like, there's no set time when I have to do my hair, but that is coming up. I haven't had my haircut in a year. But I'm gonna put down $100 for hair. And then car, I want to start, because I have pulled so much from my emergency fund to pay for stuff for my car, I actually want to create a savings, like sinking fund specifically for the car so that when emergencies happen, I'm not pulling from the emergency fund at least as much. So I'm gonna put in $100 for car this month. And look at that, guys. I'm left with $816.31. That's amazing. Usually I'm left with like $500. So I'm so happy with like the more money that I have this month. I'm just, oh my God, it feels so good to not have to worry as much about money. Though I have spent stuff already. And so I'm actually just gonna quickly go in and like pop that in so that you can see. I've already spent like almost close to $300, but I am with my parents for 2 weeks, and so I'm not gonna have to worry about groceries as much during that time. I do want to contribute a little bit, obviously, but I'm not fully just taking care of myself. Okay, so as you can see, I have quickly popped that in, and the total at the bottom is $300. $219.83. So that is what I have already spent. It's the 22nd, so in like 2 days I've already spent over $300, but they were necessary purchases. Like some were gifts, some were things that I needed, like toiletries that I ran out of and that kind of thing. But what we are left with is $496.48. And that is gonna be so good for this upcoming month. Like, oh my gosh, I'm so excited. I finally feel like financially stable, financially set, like more so than I have all of last year. In terms of like actually budgeting, I don't really put a number specifically to different categories. Like I did for the last vlog, just so that you guys can see, but I sort of mentally know what I'm going to spend in each category, and I'll just kind of show you. Okay, my camera just overheated, so I had to give it a second. I've been talking for way too long, but I am losing my light, so I have to just like wrap this up real quick. I actually just spent some time just filling this out so you guys can like take a peek. So for food, I'm gonna actually budget $250. I wanna be generous to myself this month. And then gas, I am gonna have to fill up the car to get back to Toronto, and so I'm gonna put in another $50. And then Starbucks, I'm gonna put $20 because, as you know, Kate and I go to Starbucks every single weekend and we alternate. So I buy one weekend and then she buys the next weekend. So I just like to have a little budget for that. And that's pretty much that's it, you guys. I don't really spend too much on myself. I just bought some new makeup. I already have food and medication for Bennett, like he's already set. So really what's left with the $176.48 is if emergencies pop up or I need to top up in one category or another. I don't like to budget like everything. Like I don't like doing a zero-based budget where like every single cent that you make goes towards something. I like to have a little bit of flexibility if something pops up that I want to get for myself, or if I run out of food and the $250, let's say, was not enough, like can I go out and get more? It's like a generalization, and I kind of know in my head what I have to spend for each category. Now you can go in and do your own and like set numbers for yourself. Everyone budgets differently and you do you, whatever works best for you. But I just want you guys to know that this budgeting tracker is free, and please let me know if you end up like downloading it, using it. I would love to know if anyone out there is enjoying this budget tracker. I know that it has made a difference in my life all of last year. Mind you, it was like a more simplified, modified version of this, but it has changed my life. Like keeping track of everything I spend, every single place my money's going, like where is my money going, has made such a difference. And I feel like a new person when it comes to my life financially. Am I the richest person ever? No. Am I still living paycheck to paycheck? Definitely, but it has made such a difference, and I cannot tell you enough how important it is to budget, especially if you find yourself thinking about money all the time, worrying about money all the time. Maybe it's time to download something like this and really take control of your finances. Okay, so that kind of wraps up like everything to do with ending of 2023, getting excited for 2024. I'm gonna go make another cup of tea because I made that one earlier, but I think it's cold now, and I'm just gonna enjoy the rest of my evening in a nice, peaceful way. It is the end of the night now. I actually started a new book on my Kindle. Oh, it says it's restarting. It's called Christmas at Evergreen Inn. I just read one chapter and I can tell it's gonna be very cheesy, but it's just like a nice, easy Christmas read. It's just a little after 11 now and I am pooped. I am ready to go to bed. I've had a very nice, cozy night though. It's just like very nice to relax, spend time with my parents, have a wonderful meal, watch a movie. That was just like so nice. I've been so busy for the past few weeks to actually have some time to just rest, recoup, exactly what the doctor ordered. So you guys, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe if you aren't already and hit the bell. if you want to get notified as to when I will be posting next. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye!